Hello, hello. What is going on, y'all? It is. No, let's start that over. Hello, hello. What is going on, y'all? It is me, Jay Renard, and we are here today. We're going to do a quick build for a clutch, a little small one, nothing too crazy, nothing too intricate, but gonna knock one out in hopefully an hour or so. I'm going to be using the template from Make Supply. Going to be using the template from Make Supply, and I've got all my stuff here for the most part. Got my tape that I'm going to be using because prior to the prior to stitching it all up, I know from learning the hard way that this is going to slide a little bit. Whenever I use the glue, it slides. So we're going with the tape. And this came with, or at least the initial design comes with a strap that goes around. So it'd be sewn here, come through here, then wraps around, and there's a buckle. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to have a a snap closure, probably something like a line 20, maybe a glove snap, and that's what I'm going to use here. Doug, what are you doing? All right, you look innocent. Fine. So, for those who don't know, Doug is the world's greatest shop dog. All right, don't mind the microphone. Okay, so the piece that we're going to use is this one right here. This is a piece of cowhide with a pebble grain embossing on it. Got it from, oh, it doesn't say, but I got this from the Tannery Row and it's from the Horween Tannery, but Tannery Row was the company that I bought this from. All right, so I think I'm gonna go with this one. As much as I do like this one's just extra material used up at the top. So this will go off to the side there. Can I bring this a little closer without messing everything up? Let me see if I'm in frame. Hold on one second. All right. All right, that should be a lot better. Cool. So, got this rolling. So this is going to require this primary piece here, two of these, which I'll be pulling from the side. So, oh, perfect. And my mom said Tetris wouldn't ever get me anywhere. Now look at me, saving space with my patterns. Uh, please work. Don't be dry. It is dry. That is unfortunate. Never fear. That's why we have spares. Mm. Oh, yeah, that looks like it's somehow dried out on me. And now we can fear. All right. So sadly, those two things are not working. So we got to take the hard way. Make sure I'm still in frame. Okay. Good to go. Also, for the individual watching, thank you very much. I'm glad to see that you're here. Really appreciate it. So we are using this sewing needle as if it were the scratch all. Actually, oh yeah. Ba-da-da-da. Go over the top line one more. This is much harder with my right hand. Thank you, Uncle Sam, for the damage, but hey, it's all good. Still trying to make beautiful things, so, can't be stopped. All right. And now here. And if anyone's wondering why I flipped it over, it's because if I just put it next to itself, then this big gap would just be wasted. Couldn't use it for anything. But if we do this, then I'm able to better maximize the use of the whole hide, or the whole piece rather. Um, if anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat. I can't see the screen right now, but I will be checking periodically. But I'm still working on getting I'm still working on getting a mixer so that I can stream and have some music rolling in the background. But for all the things that I've seen, nothing I've checked out absolutely positively without question confirms that I can stream from my phone or tablet while having the music music input source. Everything will work with a computer or a laptop, but not everything will work with a with a tablet. So until I know I can achieve said goal, I'm holding off on the purchase of the mixer just yet. Make sure I am rock solid here. All right, I'm going to move this mic out of the way so that I can get a good line. Hold on. Right there. Well, the edge is kind of messing up. Come on now. Good girl. Boom. Note to self. Get these printed up on sturdy sheets of plastic. I thought I had an all in here, but clearly that is a mistake. All right. Okay. Could be. Could be better, but I've done worse. All right, so let's do this. Get the nice blade. Whoa. I will be right back.
Front door.
Greetings and sorry for the wait. As it turns out, I was just short far too many tools. yes, I absolutely was not happy with not being able to get a good honed edge. And in walks the shop dog yet again. Yes, Doug, we all love you very, very much. Whoa, there's no, there was no cork on the back of that ruler. Doug, scooch. Thank you. You are indeed the best, Doug. Back up. Scooch. My dog's love language is words of affirmation as well as treats. Here we go. You can see you can see how worn this is, but the cork on the back in quite good condition. The reason that you want the cork on the back is because it keeps the ruler or whatever the straight edge it might be from slipping. Clearly, my dog is not as enthused with the leathercraft as I am. You almost certainly heard his yawning. It's all good though. It keeps it keeps the kibble in the bowl, so I'm sure he appreciates that much. All right. Look at that. Didn't keep my wrist straight, so the cut is terrible. But or I should say I didn't keep my wrist vertical. The solution is easy. Cut it again, but fix the problem. There you go. Come on now. There we go. Piece cut. Oh, sorry about that. I think what I'm going to do for these holes that I'm going to punch, I'm going to use the first time on stream a piece that I got a little while ago. It I like it. Works pretty well. Takes a bit of getting used to so far as your pressure and your hand placement and everything, but I will be using it on stream. Turn, there we go. And we'll see how that all turns out. Whoa. It wouldn't move if most of the piece was on the leather and not hanging off the side of it. Bad form on my part. All right, so since that part's already scored and this, just realized now, has a bit of a bend to it, it's giving me a bit of a pain. I'm just going to use the shears and cut this line that's already there. And I should also be able to cut this one pretty well. Although I realize now that I do need to sharpen these scissors. There's a quick hack, if you will, for doing so. It's a little bit odd, but I've seen it work. It's pretty interesting. But, well, truth be told, I've actually used it a few times too. It works, but if you have the ability to properly sharpen your scissors, that is exactly what you should be doing. The other thing that you should be doing is using the right tool for the right job. Actually, for those dimensions, I'm going to use this because the plastic's more sturdy than the cardstock. Doug, don't give me that attitude. He's always got something slick to say. Whoa. I cut that way too close to the edge when I laid that down. I can actually see this line, so there we have it. That line's a lot better. I swear I'm usually a lot less disjointed with all this silliness going on. But sadly, here we are. So for those who are curious, the angle used on this is a greater angle than this. I couldn't just use the same curve. Had to go with something different, so I had to swing back to this one. I wonder if YouTube gives copyright strikes if people just choose to sing. That would be, well, honestly, it'd be a pain in the ass, but it's interesting. Mark, 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 and Mark. And the okay, better. All right, so for those who are curious, so this is the first stitch outside of the gusset here. This is the first stitch in the gusset. And then this here, that mark I made, is the final stitch to be placed in. So I marked where they were supposed to be for each one for the purposes of when I start my stitching. There and there. So I can easily lay this down, line it up, and it will be in the right spot for everything. I don't need to mark each one of these holes because everything will go down the same way. Sounds weird, and when I say it, in practice, you'll see the benefit of it. All right. Now let's get to cutting the straight lines. Oh yeah, I'm gonna really regret cutting it this close. Oh yeah, 100% gonna regret this. Again, I can't say it enough. Thank you for anybody who's watching. You didn't have to give me your time, and I'm grateful that you chose to show up. I really appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions, you can ask them in the comments. I'm not in direct view of the comments all of the time, but when I am, I will answer what I can. Pro tip. Pro tip. Whenever you can control it, always have the ruler covering the body of the piece that you're cutting. So that way, any errant cuts or slips or what have you go away from what you're trying to make, not into what you're trying to make. paste. All right, so technically speaking, if this is all that I wanted to do, then I have all the pieces cut out. But I want to add a little more substance and body to this piece. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the edge properly rounded here, or I should say edges properly rounded here, here, and here. And then I have a nice little punch to give me 90 degrees with a nice little rounding, as you can see, right here and right here. So I don't need to worry about cutting the edge there. And then I'm going to cut a similar piece, or rather, well, not really identical, but just the top of this here from where the curve starts, so that this portion is reinforced, so that it's not just bendy and floppy. It's somewhat stiff now, but over time it will loosen up. So we're going to nip that in the bud. All right, so you should be able to see the scratch all mark right there and right there. You can't really see it so clear on that side. Anyway, so there's several different ways to properly cut rounded edges. I'm not a fan of cutting around like that if I can help it. So what I'm going to do is just cut straight lines along, I don't know what just fell, cut straight lines along this scratched line until I have a curve. And you're about to see what I'm talking about. Hold on one second. Well, first things first, let me make sure that this line is where it needs to be, because right now it is portions of a millimeter off. And you know me as an American, I hate to use millimeters for anything. All right. Much better. So, referencing that previous line that I showed online, obviously me on the camera closer. Straight line, straight line, straight line. Boom. So I just cut a few lines that were straight along that curve, and now I've got a nice clean line. Again, same thing. And there you go. We used straight lines to cut curved lines. Sounds like an oxymoron, actually isn't. Don't do what I just did. I just couldn't be bothered to go and seek out my mallet. Don't be a caveman like me and do what I just did. It's kind of ridiculous. But I'm gonna clip it though. Definitely gonna clip it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is give myself a straight edge. Whoa. And then where this curve starts is where, actually, where the curve starts on both ends is where I'm going to have this piece go. Da-da-da-da. So not down here where the stitch would be, but right up there. Yeah, I'll use that one. Okay, so I didn't fully, or at least properly, explain what I was doing there. So I lined this up on this straight line here, and then I lined this up against here. So I knew that this was completely vertical and this was completely horizontal, so that it wouldn't be cockeyed or off or anything like that. So I'm good to go. Now this is an unnecessary part of the build. This is just something that I'm doing because it makes me feel better. I like for the piece that I know that's going to be worked and handled the most to feel sturdy and well built. The snap is going to go through this, so I want it to go through 2 layers of leather at least. I'm not going to go with a liner because the flesh side of this is actually nice and flat and nice looking aesthetically, so to speak. So there's no need for the liner. This is just for the reinforcement piece. Easy day. I believe that I'm done cutting. You didn't hear that. Oh. All right. So now that that's done, I'm going to do the proper thing with the prep here. That's a 2, so this will work. This is a good thickness. This looks so odd. There we go. All right, this is going to get stitched. This will as well. This edge won't be. So what I'm going to be doing with these ones here, I'm going to be using edge paint. And that part I won't show on stream. It's literally watching paint dry. I'm not going to subject you to that. But actually, you know what? Yeah, it'll be difficult enough doing this when I'm ready to stitch. So I'm just going to bevel the whole edge. No, there we go. I dug too deep on that one. That sucked. All right. So what we got going on is this. Let me punch through. All right, so what I did just there is made it so that I could identify the marks on the inside. So these two will be here. like so. Actually, let's punch that a little deeper there. So we'll have this and this on the inside. This will be, excuse me, so this and this on the inside. This will be sewn. This will be sewn. Then fold this over, then sew the same thing there, but on this line. Then we'll have a nice clutch put together. I take that back. I'll also be adding the snap for the closure. Again, a line 20 or a glove. I'm trying to get this very close to the edge without spilling over. There we go. And I just want to make sure that this doesn't go beyond where that curve is. You can eyeball it in this instance. Not recommended to just eyeball it unless you really know what you're doing. It's one of the reasons why I'm not using too much glue. Just a little bit. All right, for the record, that's not me breathing heavily. That's my dog having dreams of running around. He's not one for playing fetch. Lord knows he can't retrieve a ball to save anything. His retriever ancestors weep, but he is astounding at chasing smaller animals. He is just amazing at it. So whatever he's mixed with was absolutely a hunting dog. And quarter twist. There we go. I'm just doing this to speed along the drying a bit. I just saw that one section didn't have glue up to the edge, so I want to make sure that's taken care of. There we go. Much better. So So for those who don't know, for contact adhesive, like Barge, you're supposed to apply it to one side and then the other, then let both sides get what's referred to as tacky, and then set them together, and then they'll cure. And then once the bond cures, the material will be well and truly adhered. And once it is cured, the bond to itself will be so strong that the material will tear before the bond will break. And that is why Barge is preferred here in the leather industry. But you got a narrow window to ensure that it's all properly lined up, or the adhesion is going to stick in such a manner that it's not what you wanted. And I think that this stretched out somewhere between me handling it and applying it, because these things are not lined up. This seems to stick out farther. But on the other hand, it's better that it's too big than too small, because, come on now, easy day. And the rest can be shaped with some sanding post stitching. Da 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 da. Bum 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 bum. Whoa, that sounded horrible. I just remembered I said that I was gonna hand punch this. I was thinking about using the machine because it's faster. Thank you, Doug. Well, I don't want anybody to think that I'm a liar, so you know what? Let's practice this before. Get some scrap. Oh, okay. I got it the first time. I just couldn't tell. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I should do this with my dominant hand. Oh, it's twisting. Let me move it someplace where it's not going to move. All right, so for those who don't know, this punch, when you push down, it'll make this spin. So you have the downward pressure and then the circular rotation that will cut a hole in the leather. But if the piece is allowed to move a little bit, then the force that comes from the circular rotation is negated by the piece moving some. So the force that would go into cutting the leather went into moving the leather. Yes, you just got a physics lesson. So let's go someplace that's less likely to twist. Better. All right, 2 works definitely. 1. All right, so 1 doesn't work on leather this thick. I am starting to regret this purchase. That was terrible on my part. Hand wobbled. Maybe I need to stand up. We'll go ahead and chalk that up to user error. You should be stood up and have much more downward force than just with a wrist placement here. So not this, but this. Hopefully the folks over at Lethos don't sue me. I did acknowledge it was user error. There goes my shot at sponsorship. All right. Okay. Pro tip: don't remove the backing until you are ready to apply it to the edge that you are going to have it attached to. This is going to be attached to the front of the piece. This is going to be attached to the back. I'm ready to attach it to the front of it, but not yet the back. Oh, that was terrible. Gotta get a little better than that. You know what's randomly been on my mind most of the day, or most of yesterday? Les Miserables. Been randomly thinking of Prisoner 24601. Odd, right? I would say so. I don't know why. Maybe I should just do this. It's a little odd, but might work. Should work. Yeah, let's just do this from now on. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, okay. It's begun to separate from its backing. So, boom. There we go. Oh, damn it. This is why we can't have nice things. I took this off when I shouldn't have. Should have been this piece. Mm. Well, so for the most part, I'm done with the hard work. So there's this piece here. I'm going to have to incorporate some fun part of burnishing because I completely forgot this. But it's stuck on there and it's not coming off. Got to clean that up there. And then, oh, whoa. That's what happens when you get distracted when you're doing stuff. You miss things. Come on. Okay, so this concludes the stream here because now I've got to sew, true up edges, uh, sew again, true up edges, and then burnish or paint, whichever will be more expedient. Next time I'll better plan this. This was just a spur of the moment off the cuff. So thank y'all for the time this afternoon, and y'all have a great one. I'm Jay Renard, and I'm out. Peace.